My name is Sarah Rankin. It's SarahRankin.
And Sarah, where do you live?
I am in Bradenton, Florida.
Okay, how are things there now?
The cleanup is really just getting started. The roads are lined with tons of debris, but here in Bradenton, we were spared. Unfortunately, can't say the same for our neighbors down south, but here it's just a lot of down trees. We've got a lot of new developments and new construction. So you saw walls coming down and trees uprooting, but otherwise, the Bradenton area was very fortunate.
Oh, good. So take me back to a few weeks ago. Did you just receive a phone call from Melaleuca saying we're coming? How did that all play out?
Oh my goodness. Well, I've been a Melaleuca customer since February 2019.
Okay.
And so when it first started developing, they were reaching out just to see if we were safe, if we needed anything. And then, things really shifted kind of quickly for everybody here. The original landfall location was supposed to be here in my hometown of Bradenton, Sarasota. And it shifted to the south rather quickly. And so when it went from, category 1 to category 4, it just got really intense. I can tell you they say it's like waiting for a turtle to attack. Like it takes forever, but it's just really stressful. And so they were reaching out, checking on us the whole time. But as soon as we woke up that morning, it was immediate. They're in my messages, wanted to know how everybody was, what did it look like? And, we had internet was down, cell phones were down. So it was really hard to get a hold of people. Some of the last messages that we received from other customers in the field were really scary. We didn't know how things were ending or what the outcome of that was going to be. But my phone lit up and it said, "Hey, Sarah, this is Frank VanderSloot. Call me." And I don't know really what went through my mind because I love Frank and clearly I've been a customer with him for years, but I didn't expect such an immediate response, I suppose. And when I called him, his first question was, "How are you? How's the family? How's the house? What's going on? How bad is it?" And then he went on to apologize because he didn't call sooner. And the plane was tied up for the weekend or something of the sort. And mind you, this is like 48 hours after the storm, after we're finding out where the areas are really affected. Bridges were washing out, shortages were starting, the panic is starting to set in. Because regardless of how much you prepare, you're never prepared. And for those of you who don't live in a hurricane state, like if you've never experienced a hurricane, it's not as easy to evacuate as a lot of people want to make it sound. By the time it becomes imminent and you need to go, it's often too late. And we get these storms a lot. So it's, kind of a roll of the dice. Yeah. There's only one way in and out. So it can get scary. But, he just started asking questions. And the next thing I knew, he said, "We've got a plane full of generators, power strips, gas cans, and we can get there. Can you meet the plane?" And so, the whirlwind began at that point. We just assembled a team. Frank said, boots to the ground is the only way that he knows how to respond. And I think my initial thought was, why is somebody in Idaho so concerned about us Floridians? But it's truly just an insight into the heart of the company and into Frank, how much they care for the little guys. And so we were so thankful.
Yeah. I can imagine. So you hear that he says the plane's coming, it's full of generators and other equipment you might need. How soon did it land? And did you just head out to the airport to meet it?
Yeah. So he called us on the 1st around 6:00 at night, and we were there in Naples, which typically would be about an hour and a half from my house. It took us closer to 3 to get down there, but we were there the next afternoon. So he right out the door. We just assembled everywhere we could and went out to Naples and met the plane. Originally, he was set to land in Fort Myers, but the military took over the base. And so we had to then shift directions. But, what was so wild and just surreal is that even the whole process happening, like there was generators on the plane and he didn't know if we were going to have the oil that we needed for the generators. And he's like, "I'll stop in Wisconsin. Don't worry about it." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" So it was really cool.
So did they stop in Wisconsin for oil? And
The generators thankfully weren't the ones that he thought, we didn't
Oh,
end up
okay.
needing the oil, so he didn't have to. It was
Nice.
all in the ready to go.
Okay, so you get to the airport, and then at that point, did you have like a pickup truck to put the generators in to go distribute?
Yeah, so Frank assembled the team. He reached out to longtime customers in the area, and everyone was just so willing to put boots on the ground. So we had trucks ready to go, vans ready to go, and we were there, in about 45 minutes to an hour before the plane arrived. So we were eager and waiting to just get there. We had assigned homes for all 34 generators, all of the gas cans coming in, and he even sent 1,000 units of Sol-U-Mel, which is like the best mold and stain remover you've ever used. So we were able to go out into the community and help with cleanup efforts long after the initial damages, which is super cool.
And you all didn't have to pay for them.
Oh, no, everything showed up on the tarmac, and they assigned us however many per truck, and off we went.
And from there, where did you go? Where did you take them?
I personally went to Northport, which I have a large customer base there. They were very heavily damaged. They took on a lot of water, a bridge washed out. And so we had customers who had multiple families staying in the house, 6 adults, 6 kids, all in a home with no power, just trying to survive. And so we were able to take generators to them and get their houses up and running. Then we went to Venice and ran into Ron and Marjorie, who are 86-year-old veterans, who did not see us coming. That call came by way of a Facebook friend. We were sharing what Melaleuca was doing on social media, and a friend reached out to another friend who called me and said, my grandparents are in Venice. We've only heard from them once. They're 86. We don't know. And we were only a few minutes away. So we were like, let's go save the day. And they were just so gracious, so thankful. And I remember Ron said, why would a good old boy in Idaho be worried about us in Florida? And I said, what I've come to know about Frank and Melaleuca is that they do all the good that they can by all the means that they can, all the times that they can, for all of the people that they can. And that's why we're here. I said, your granddaughter called, actually, and we just happened to have an extra generator and we would love to help. And so we had thankfully packed up our truck with gasoline and food and water also, and we were able to leave them well stocked. They were walking to the gas station to get food every single day. At this point, we're 3 days in. So 3 days with no power in Florida heat, 86 years old, that's a lot. And then going to the gas station and only eating what you can get for the day, bringing this generator to them offered them peace. They were able to have a lamp on at night. You never really know after these storms and crazy natural disasters what kind of people are going to come into the communities and ultimately be there to loot or cause trouble. And so even just having a lamp on in the house can really mean a lot, especially to somebody in their 80s, 90s,
Awesome. Well, is there anything you want to add, Sarah?
Oh my goodness. The initial response from Melaleuca was just absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, here it's kind of hard to put into perspective the panic that runs through every city, especially the ones that didn't know they were going to be as devastated as they were. And so generators aren't at Home Depot. They're not at Costco. You can't just go and plug anything in. And so the fact that they were able, Melaleuca and Frank were able to send generators from the other side of the country and get them there, within 72 hours to the people in need. I'll be a customer for life. I mean, if that isn't an insight into what the company stands for, I don't know what else is, because we truly feel like he sees the little guy, and that meant a lot to us.